Hi guys, I just wanted to take a moment today to remind you that this is a season of peace. And when we think about that word peace, I am often confronted with some people's belief that peace means the absence of conflict. However, Advent reminds us that it's Jesus who gives us this peace, and not just any peace, but Jesus who gives us his peace. John chapter 14 says, "Peace I leave with you, my peace I give you." Now let's think about that for just a minute. His peace he gives us. He gives us his peace. As I go through Jesus's life, his birth, his crucifixion, and his coming, none of it was without conflict, but his peace he gives us. None of it was without chaos. I mean, the guy was born and immediately had a hit put out on him by the king. Not only was he born and immediately had a hit put out on him by the king, he was also a refugee, forced to be a refugee in Egypt, the very place that had enslaved his people generations before. I'd say Jesus' life was anything but chaos and conflict free. In that same verse in John, Jesus says, "In this world you will have trouble, but take heart, I've overcome the world." His peace he gives us. This peace that overcomes the world, this peace that remains in the face of conflict, in the face of chaos. His peace he gives to us. And so, how are we to take advantage in this Advent season, in the midst of COVID, in the midst of all the divisions that are happening around us, the chaos and the trouble that even you yourself personally might be facing today? How do we receive Jesus' peace that he gives us, that he leaves with us this Advent season? 3 simple P's. Because I'm a pastor, I have to make it sermonic. The first P is pause. Do it right now. Seriously, take a breath. Pausing, just stopping. It's actually a faith embodiment. Stopping or ceasing action actually is a way of telling your body and telling yourself that God is in this moment. He's present. He's here. It tells us that we can stop being God because God is here, present in this moment, and we can trust him to be God here in this moment. The second P is praise. Praise is a posture that actually is another faith posture that remembers who God has been. Once you're sure of his presence in your current moment, then you can recall who he's been. And here's a hint. God has been the God who's seen you through your worst and darkest moments. He's the reason that you're still here in this moment, despite that dark moment. And whatever the darkness that you're sitting in currently, whatever the chaos, whatever the trouble, God is the God who will see you through this moment as well. When we praise him and thank him, sitting in gratitude for who he has been, the image of who he is becomes even clearer. That pause becomes even deeper, and that peace in the midst of chaos and conflict and trouble becomes even more real. There's one more P, and that is faith position. Position yourself for faith. You see, faith is this idea that we believe in something deeper. In other words, what we believe is who God has been, he will continue to be. And so when we position ourselves for faith, and that can be a number of things. Whatever your situation is, generally, if you're resistant to the idea, follow the resistance. That's the faith position. Position yourself for faith. Take a step in faith. In doing so, you embody this posture of faith that says God's going to keep on being who God has always been, and you know that you're not walking alone because of that deep and rich assurance of his presence that you have. You see, Jesus' peace that he gives us, it's not a peace that comes only in the absence of conflict. It is a peace built, meant, purposed specifically for chaos, for conflict, for trouble. In this Advent season, this time of year can be really hectic, full of things to do, full of trouble. Take heart, friends. The Prince of Peace gives us his peace, not the world's peace, so that we can take heart, knowing that he has overcome. He is overcoming, and he will overcome any trouble that faces you today. God bless you, and I pray that this was a word that encouraged your heart.